All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My team and I are very excited to present our project, which is called Reddit Expert. So in this presentation, we're going to tell you about a problem that has come up recently with Google search. And we'll tell you how Reddit enters into the story and what role it plays in our project. Then we'll show you the model that we built that we believe can help to solve this problem. And after that, I'll hand it off to Anish, who will show you how the model works with a demo. And then we'll come back for some conclusions. And finally, we'll answer any questions that might come. So over the past few years, Google search results have gotten noticeably worse. SEO optimized content is dominating the search results pages, and there's ads literally everywhere you look. And because of this, it's gotten harder and harder to find high quality information that's written by actual people. So this problem has led a lot of people, including myself, to start adding Reddit at the end of their search queries. You can find a lot of articles on the subject. There's a few of them shown here. So what it allows you to do is it allows you to skip past all the AI generated or marketing driven content and get to the real useful information. So Reddit posts are usually written by actual real people, and they have the lived experience, or they have specific expertise about certain topics, and they're gonna basically give you exactly the information that you're looking for a lot of the time. So for example, this Medium article was posted just a few days ago showing that this is very much still a relevant issue, and talks about how AI has had a negative impact on Google search results. Now, of course, we all know the AI revolution has brought us a lot of incredibly useful tools and applications. But it's also been the source of this tidal wave of spam and generated quote unquote content that is sometimes of questionable quality. So Google, of course, isn't going anywhere. And to their credit, they have made some steps to address this issue, but it still remains. So what if instead of having to modify our search queries and navigate our way to Reddit or TikTok or any other platform, what if we could talk to Reddit directly and we could get all the answers we need by tapping straight into what's sometimes referred to as the Reddit hive mind? This is where we introduce Reddit Expert. So you can ask questions about anything and you can get answers from real humans on Reddit. So what is Reddit Expert? It's a model. So this is the model that we created. How did we do this? We started with a base model. We used Mistral 7B. We also worked with Tiny Llama and Llama 2, but this is the one we settled on. And then we used the Reddit Instruct dataset, which is available on Hugging Face and contains over 80,000 records, which are collected from a number of subreddits on Reddit, mostly science and technology related, and they contain information about a wide variety of topics. And then we fine-tuned using that data, and we used PEFT and LoRa's, very similar to what we did in the class. And the goal here is for the user to be able to ask a question and then get the answer they need in plain language. So it should be easy to understand for anyone without any overly long explanations. So you don't have to go read through a long Wikipedia article. You can just get the information you need in a couple sentences. All right, so with that, I would like to hand it over to Anish, who will show us the model in action. Anish, go ahead.
Thanks, Bart. I've switched over to my browser. You can see the notebook here. just before I go over the inference notebook, want to show the audience what the data set looks like. So as Bart mentioned, we picked the Reddit Instruct data set, which is a collection of about 85,000 records of Reddit posts. Mostly the questions and answers on here are on the STEM field. So these are maybe about 9 or 10 of the categories that are there. Um, all records in this data set have a title and at least one comment. And what we noticed is that the title and the text make for a pretty good input of a question or something that the user is looking for, and the comments are a collection of answers that are crowdsourced from Reddit users. This is where the model is deployed. You can see it's on my workspace with the title of Mr. Reddit. Um, Going over to the inference notebook, pretty standard stuff, very similar to what we did in class. Um, to show that fine tuning using LoRa and PEF does make a difference when we are trying to query on specific terms or categories. We compare the answers given by the base model by Mistral 7B versus our trained or fine-tuned model that we just saw on Hugging Face. Um, Load both those models up, see a very similar generate response functions. Just going to briefly mention two questions here that could come up on Reddit that are both somewhat related to science. You can see how that fine tuning has helped us. The first question is, what's the difference between a flower and a petal? And you can see the first response is generated by the base model. It's quite long. It has some irrelevant information in it. Also includes some other questions and answers, again, not required. If you compare it with our fine-tuned model, it's much more precise. It actually even points you to an image URL showing you a flower, and then it talks about some relevance. It points out some part of that picture to help you refer to it. Um, and then the second one is a more broader question that says, why is the sky blue? We see something very similar with the base model response, that it's very superfluous, not precise, doesn't really answer the question, brings in some additional things like magnetic field, uh, may be relevant, but maybe not for a layman. And then if you see the fine-tuned model, you'll see that it's in common language, doesn't bring in any fancy terms, and then sticks to the topic. And this was not fine-tuned for a very long time. So sure, with better data and more training, we could do much better. That's all for the demo. Thank you. Back to Bart.
All right, sorry, find the unmute button. Thank you, Anish. All right, so the conclusion, yeah, as you can see, we could always use a little bit more data curation and training to further improve the responses that we're getting from the model. In addition to that, this is also a use case that's ripe for RAG, I think, because we really want the model to be able to recall specific information that we trained it on, which it wasn't always doing right now. And then the last thing is we also had issues deploying our model to Hugging Face. So that's another thing we can work on. We were getting some mysterious error messages. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you all for listening, and I'll take any questions.